one of the things we're most proud of is that we helped to define the concept of those non-traditional jobs for women, where women were less than 25% of the workforce, could enter with less than a BA, and could earn wages and benefits that would support themselves and their families without having to go forward with the BA. WOW subsequently built a network of programs around the country to prepare women for these jobs, as well as to advocate for national, state, and local policies and programs to promote access to these jobs in collaboration with labor and business. Today, we're redefining the concept of economic security for women across and between generations through our state projects in 40 states, reaching thousands of local and community-based programs. Most recently, we've established a priority to promote women in the emerging green economy. In fact, next week, WOW will be holding the first national institute of its kind in the country on the very issue of women and green jobs. We do believe that this is a key strategy to move low-income women into career paths that will lead to well-paying jobs and that will enable them to take care of themselves and their families. As a matter of fact, the importance of this was just brought home in the release of a report by the Center for American Progress, Women's Nation, that made clear the importance of women's income to the survival of their families and, as Chris said, to the community as a whole. Although the definition of green jobs is evolving, there are some key elements. They include jobs that substantially contribute to preserving or restoring the environment. This can include research, retrofits, fuel-efficient energy, such as strategies such as wind and solar power. And they are jobs that require a vast range of skills from high level to low level. And what is particularly important is that these are jobs that are projected to increase in significant numbers. For instance, a recent study conducted by the Pew Trust found that jobs in the clean energy economy would be growing at more than twice the rate of other jobs. And we think that there are many parallels between green jobs and jobs otherwise considered as non-traditional for women, whether they be in construction, research, or technology. However, our experience makes clear that there must be specific strategies put in place to ensure that women will fully participate in the sector to offset the barriers that they will otherwise face. If not, we will find the same kind of situation which we have found in many non-traditional jobs, where even today, after 30 years of effort, jobs like carpentry, electrical work, masonry, there will be less than 3% of the workforce who are women. So why is that? Well, the barriers are varied, but some of the key ones are continuing myths that only certain work is women's work, lack of awareness of these jobs and their value to women and girls, inadequate resources for training and support services to enable women to balance their work and family expectations and responsibilities, and the kind of isolation, harassment, and sometimes discrimination in a workplace where women are in the minority. We also know from our experience, however, there are concrete and effective strategies that we can take now to overcome these barriers and to provide women with an equal playing field in the green economy. Those areas are policy and programs, resources, collaboration, demand for green jobs, and enforcement of civil rights. For instance, policies and programs can be established at every level of government to increase the recruitment, training, hiring, retention, and promotion of women in the green economy. These include legislation like the Construction Career Project and the proposed climate change bill, the Women Win Jobs Act, soon to be introduced in Congress, or even the Pathways Out of Poverty provisions that are currently being implemented under the Green Jobs Act through the Department of Labor. Making resources available are key. There are many of those resources that can be specifically targeted to promoting women in green jobs, like those funded currently under ICE-T, which is our transportation bill, which provides a specific set-aside for resources to be available for training and support services to increase the participation of women and minorities in these transportation construction projects. Forging collaborations among industry, labor, and community-based training organizations to promote workplace equity is essential. Increasing the demand for green jobs continues to be something we should be concerned about, just like we are concerned about the supply side. One strategy for that is to establish mandates in government-funded construction to reduce the carbon footprint or to create incentives to do so. We as a country and particularly federal agencies must use the resources they have to fully enforce civil rights laws and updates of regulations and construction contracts to keep up with both the rate of participation of women in the workforce and the kinds of jobs that are being offered. We truly believe that if we as a community are committed to these steps and take these steps now to establish women on the ground floor of this emerging employment sector with full access and equal opportunity, we will not 5 or 20 years from now having to be struggling with gender discrimination or dealing with the social consequences of low-income women and their families' inability to make ends meet. The time to level the playing field is today.
Thank you, Joan, and thank you for your important partnership. That was a really helpful overview. I just want to call everyone's attention to their screen. You will see the cover of our report that we're releasing today, Creating Opportunity for Low-Income Women. We believe that this is a rare opportunity for low-income women to get in on the ground floor of a new employment sector. But to take full advantage of it, we will need to have all programs in place that provide training, do a far better job of training women for non-traditional occupations. It is now my pleasure to introduce Megan Uzel. Megan J. Uzel was appointed Deputy Assistant Secretary and Acting Assistant Secretary, Office of the Assistant Secretary for Policy, OASP, U.S. Department of Labor, in June of 2009. In this role, Ms. Uzel advises the Secretary and Deputy Secretary on policy development, regulations, program implementation, compliance assistance strategies, program evaluations, research, budget and performance analysis, and legislation. OASP also provides analytical support with respect to policy issues, trends, and economic analysis affecting programs of the Department. Prior to her appointment, Ms. Uzel served as a senior advisor to the Secretary. Prior to this, Ms. Uzel worked on legislative matters as a staff member to then Congresswoman Hilda L. Solis, now Secretary of Labor.
Thank you very much. The clean energy economy is an important part of economic growth. And our trading partners around the world know that, which is why China and other countries have begun to invest heavily in clean energy research and development. We know that clean energy jobs are going to be created somewhere in the world, and the administration wants to ensure they're created here in America. For the Department of Labor, we want to make sure that women are in those jobs. So I'd like just to make a few points today about the efforts of the Department of Labor on green jobs. First, we're all aware of the economic challenges that workers in our nation are facing, and I know everyone here today is particularly aware of these challenges for women. While our national unemployment rate is an all-time high of 9.8%, women do have a lower percentage of unemployment at 7.8%. We don't consider this a victory for us, though. In the changing economy, 59% of low-wage workers are women, and 67% of the part-time workforce are women. We know that families depend on these wages, yet women continue to only make 80 cents for every dollar earned by a man, and only 33% of unemployed women receive unemployment support. The second point I'd like to make today is that the Council of Economic Advisors has estimated 52% growth for environmental-related occupations between 2000 and 2016. These are jobs that will provide economic security for our middle-class families, while at the same time reducing our nation's dependence on imported energy. These are jobs that traditionally cannot be outsourced, and these are jobs that can rebuild our communities in a more equitable manner.